Welcome back to the Battle Factory. I'm your host, TimeLimitVGC, and today we're going to continue climbing up the doubles ladder. We are still at Great Ball tier. Woo! I know. We should have been a little bit higher by now. Made some questionable plays in the last few matches, but it's okay. We're still learning, and that's the thing that counts the most, right? So, we are going to actually go for the Battle Tower song, just because it's a really good song. Shout out to Toby Fox. And yeah, so anyway, hopefully this microphone has been slightly improved in comparison to the other microphones. But without further ado, we're going to start battling. So we're finding another opponent who has a very interesting composition since it has half Trick Room, half Speed. You know, we have Tailwind and Trick Room options here. With Dragapult, Arcanine, Corviknight, Bisharp, Oranguru, which we haven't seen yet, and the Rhyperior. So we can assume that the Rhyperior has the weakness policy here, or yeah, I don't think it would have Lightning Rod since there's nothing that's really super effective to Electric besides its Corviknight. The hardest part is assuming what the Dragapult wants to do, because it's just really good against my Trick Roomers. He has his own Trick Room options, so what I'm thinking is we should just lead neutral, and a neutral lead in my opinion is kind of risky just because without Trick Room I basically start off in a disadvantaged state. He has, Defiant, so I'm not too worried. I don't have Intimidate. Let's see. I feel like a Grimmsnarl lead is pretty good, pretty solid. We can always set Reflex. We can return the Intimidate back to other Intimidators such as Arcanine. I'd probably bring Crawdon. That's a really hard to lead. I never necessarily do that. I'll definitely leave, the Trick Roomers in the back. I feel like Reuniclus is really good for offensive purposes, and Torkoal could Torkoal can do some work here. I'm gonna assume that I'm going to Dynamax Crawdon first, so Torkoal has to be played a little bit more carefully. But yeah, I'm basically bringing really offensive Pokemon right now. So let's see what happens. Good luck and have fun to the Shield player with the Shiny Charm. We are going to explore some Shinies later, aren't we? Right? Anyway, so my opponent is gonna lead off with the Rhyperior and Bisharp. That's extremely interesting. He doesn't have a I keep saying, oh, does he have Gastrodon in the back? Because Gastrodon literally walls Crawdon in the scenario where I want to use Waterfall or something. But yeah, definitely I think we're at a very good lead here. I definitely want to go for Reflect. He has a lot of physical Pokemon. Probably wants to pick up the one shot with the Bisharp onto my Grimmsnarl. And I'm not tempted. I want to get rid of the weakness policy really badly. So what I'm going to do is actually just... you could just Protect too. Let's see. Okay, so what if I could just... This is super tricky. I could also Muddy Water. That's such a tech move that nobody expects. And it's not going to do any damage. It's just there for accuracy drops. Kind of not relevant right now since fine, I'll just Max Darkness the Rhyperior because I don't want to proc up its weakness policy. Okay, really cool stuff. Who did you switch into? Please be a ghost or dark type. Okay, you're fine. Okay, this is good. Okay, so two steel types. They both threaten the Grimmsnarl on the back. And yeah, I'm going to be Dynamaxing the Crawdon. Since I'm Dynamaxing first and Crawdon's relatively slow in comparison to the other two Pokemon, it looks like his Bisharp is not also going to Dynamax. So, still threatening. It could be Choice Band, it could be Life Orb, it could be some crazy set, it could be Focus Sash. But let's see what happens. So I'm going to go for the Reflect, right? Yeah, Reflect. Prankster gives me that boost. We got the big boy Lobster himself. And Iron Head should do some crazy damage. Oh, but we live! So he is Life Orb. Okay, awesome. We're going to get that Figgy Berry boost. We're going to come back to the game. And we're going to do some crazy damage with Max Darkness. No, wait, I forgot. Max Darkness brings down a stat, and now he's going to Defiant boost. Wait, does the stat still fall if I pick up the KO? Okay, that was a crit. That's really good for us. No, Bisharp got Defiant boost. And I can't even Power Swap either because he's a Dark type. Dark types aren't affected by Prankster. Yeah, I completely didn't see that coming. Yeah, I was going to say, oh, I should just Max Quake the Bisharp. But I was also going to Max Quake the Rhyperior. So what am I talking about? So definitely, like, I feel safe to Waterfall now, just because I have a bunch of... yeah, okay, I feel definitely safe to Waterfall now, because he doesn't have, like, anything that can stop Waterfalls. I will power swap the Arcanine so that Arcanine loses its offense. I'm going to assume that he's going to Dynamax his Bisharp and then go for some crazy Max Knuckle, like +2 Max Knuckle with Life Orb will be picking up KOs. So game's kind of over for me. Good game. I'm giving up here. I'm kidding. Let's see what happens. I'm assuming that he has to Dynamax the Bisharp because he could still Dynamax the Rhyperior in the back, which would still be a really good option. But I just think that, you know, Life Orb Dynamax moves are just crazy, and he's already at +2. You know, Grimmsnarl is already gonna get KO'd and such. So, okay, he's not Dynamaxing, which is interesting. I know he's still gonna go first. Maybe he has, like, Superpower. We'll see. So, okay, Close Combat goes to Crawdon. Crawdon's gonna take that because now the... what do you call it? The Arcanine is at -1. That's why he's Power Swap. And then Ironhead is gonna pick up the KO. Awesome. So, this is really great for me because not only do I survive with Crawdon, but Crawdon should be able to pick up the KO. Because of him running the Life Orb, he has to be like a full offensive set, nothing bulky, and this should be picking up the KO since it's just going to do so much ridiculous damage, and we're set. Okay. This proves, number 1, that he's reserving his Dynamax for the Rhyperior, and number 2, Bisharp is just so good. How did we ignore Bisharp? How did we ignore all of this? So, now he's bringing, he's going to bring the... oof, okay, yeah, now it's going to be tricky. He's going to bring the Rhyperior. So who do I want to bring here? I feel like Reuniclus is good. Yeah, let's do Reuniclus. Alright. I need to get rid of the Rhyperior as soon as possible. What makes me question him, like, he has to have weakness policy Protect, but the fact, like, yeah, and then, like, he probably wouldn't take a Waterfall anyway. I still outspeed him, so I do not want to go for any ridiculous, like, plays where I have to, like... So I'm gonna... okay, listen. I'm going to outspeed the Rhyperior anyway. It's the... but he also Close Combat the Arcanine. So the question that I'm facing right now is, I want to get rid of Arcanine so I can focus on the Rhyperior. I'm going to assume that the Rhyperior is going to Protect this turn because it wants to get a weakness policy boost from, you know, because Dynamax is going to go through it and whatever, and then it can Dynamax next turn. If it Dynamaxes now, then I'm kind of in trouble, but I really just need to get rid of the Arcanine right now so that, you know, once again, I can focus on the thing. So what I'm going to actually do is just double up onto Arcanine. I'm actually going to go for Max Darkness because if I get the special defense drop onto the Rhyperior, I can still do some crazy damage with Reuniclus and Torpal in the back. I believe this may be like my last turn for screens, so I'm not necessarily in the best position. He does Dynamax the Rhyperior, which means he's not going to Protect, so kind of questionable there. He probably just wants to go for like Max Knuckle onto, you know, Crawdon. Okay, he does Protect, but my question is, you know, he probably should... no, he's right, because, you know, probably Rain boosted Max Geyser would probably pick up the KO after Protect and everything, even though he's Solid Rock and everything. So yeah, I'm going to go for Max Darkness onto the Arcanine, which does pick up the KO. Since we learned this in another crit that's hilarious, I'm sorry, my opponent. That still was going to KO because he got the defense drops from Close Combat. And as we learned from the last turn, from the Bisharp turn, that Max Darkness brings down the special defense, which would ideally give Bisharp the Defiant boost, but we don't have to worry about that right now. So Crawdon does outspeed, and, you know, we are choice banned, but we haven't locked ourselves before we started, so we can freely choose the you know, Waterfall. I'm just gonna Psychic for damage. A Waterfall should be picking up the KO. I should go first. Okay, yeah, I go first. So the battle's canceled. My opponent forfeits. Very good game. I completely slept on the fact that Bisharp got Defiant and that the max moves basically could activate the Defiant, even though I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna target him, but yeah. So what did you know? This look at this, guys. This Dragapult was Specs, and it had Thunderbolt, didn't it? Yeah, it had Thunderbolt. So that's what I'm telling you. Like, it's so difficult to predict what Dragapult's gonna do. This was a banded Arcanine, which kind of explained how much damage it did with close combat and such. But then again, I gave it -1 and the reflect, so I wasn't too concerned. This was especially defensive, so yeah. Max Darkness, we're gonna pick up a KO. Yeah, Defiant, Assurance, Sucker Punch, Iron. Okay, so like, Bisharp's not too much of a threat to the Crawdaunt itself, but again, with the boost and such, it's gonna be in trouble. And again, Life Orb boost is just so crazy. So yeah, I assumed that he was going to have access to Max Knuckle by having Superpower or some type of fighting type attack, like Brick Break, but that's not the case, so we're fine. I guess that's why he brought Arcanine, so that he could have that coverage over there. And then we have, you know, this had to be his Trick Room setter. Interesting. He had Bulldoze too, which means he could just... Yeah, so it was Weakness Policy Protect, yep. So yeah, I called that out correctly. It was probably safer for him just to Dynamax and Max Guard. Because again, Rain boosted Max Geyser going through a Protect. Kind of questionable. He had Solid Rock. I don't know. Definitely, we won't find out today, but we may find out in the future. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this battle. This is TimeLimitVGC, and I will catch you on the next one.